Check out this 12-volt electric car. It has working headlights, Bluetooth for music, 2 speeds, GPS navigation. Okay, so GPS navigation is just a picture, and it has a remote control. Ever since it has warmed up outside, our 20-month-old son has been riding one of my scooters. We have a sit-down scooter, and he really enjoys standing up in front of me and just riding on the platform while I drive it. I figured it was time to get him something that he'd enjoy driving on his own. We picked up this Hikole 12-volt electric Jeep for about $130. One of the biggest reasons I picked this thing up is because it was a one-seater. Didn't need anything bigger, at least for the time being. We also wanted one with the compatibility to control it with a remote, since it's going to take some time for this guy to learn how to steer and hit the gas pedal. He learned how to hit the gas pedal on the first day. When we got it, it came in a smaller box than I thought it would be in. I had to wait for our son to take a nap so we could put it together. Otherwise, he'd be all over this trying to help. Once opened up, everything looked nicely packaged. Looking at everything that comes in the box here, you'll notice that there is quite a few different parts that you need to put together. Don't be scared. It's not really that big of a deal. We'll go through it all here as we put it together, as well as there's an easy to follow manual. I also noticed that there was 2 wheels shoved up under the Jeep. Those were zip tied, and they were the rear wheels, not the front wheels, and they were zip tied to the steering rack. Okay, so starting assembly on this, I flipped it over and put the side steps on. This is the first thing you need to do. There are 3 push tabs that lock into place. These needed a little bit more effort and force than I thought, and they click into place. Then on the bottom side, there are 2 screw holes into the body, and you screw these to the body. Once they're in place, then you flip the car back over and you have the fenders. The fenders also snap into place, and they have 2 alignment pins on each of them. These fenders do screw into the step for stability. Now it's time for the bull bar. This bull bar just pushes and clicks into place. It's that easy. Now the steering rack. It already has the nylon locking nuts and washers on the steering rack. You'll need to remove those. And then you'll need to grab the suspension springs. There are those 2 little springs that are found with the hubs of the wheels. The springs go between the steering rack and the frame. And then also there is this one bar that goes across and connects the 2 wheels together. So when you're going to steer, it steers both of them at the same time. When you put this in, you want to also place this over the steering neck as well so that the steering wheel will be able to actually control the wheels. Putting the front wheels on is the next thing you need to do. The front wheels get a washer. You put that on first, you slide the wheel on, then you get another washer, and then you get a nylon nut. Tighten the nut until it's tight. Not too tight, but not loose. Tight enough that the wheel doesn't wobble, but also not too tight where it doesn't spin very freely. Then you have the hubcap that you put on, a little end cap, and it just snaps into place. Moving on to the rear, you have 3 axle mounts. You'll need to screw these into the body. The left and the right one each have 6 screws, and the middle one gets 3 screws. Slide the axle in, and then you're ready to install the motors and the rear wheels. The motor slides into the axle, and then you can stuff those wires into the holes that you see here, and you'll connect those underneath the seat. The motor itself goes into the open space in the black mount, and it'll just kind of hold into place. Now, you can tighten the rear wheel on. This time, the rear wheel goes on no washer first, but it goes on by itself, and then it gets a washer, and then a nylon nut. The wheel will lock into place and the inset into the white motor plastic. I did use a pair of pliers to help from keeping the axle spinning while I was tightening the nylon nuts on. Now it's time to reinstall the doors as they just slide into place, and then you can put the mirror mounts on. Each mirror mount gets 2 screws. Once they're installed, the mirrors can be pushed into place. They're just little dowel rods. On the steering wheel, it has a bolt that's already connected with a nut through the actual steering wheel itself. The steering neck has a hole for this bolt to go through, so you're going to have to loosen the bolt and then put the steering wheel on and align it with the hole in the steering neck, and then put that bolt through and tighten it up. The nut will fall out if you let it, but just go ahead and put it back in, and it locks it in place. Now moving on to the under the seat, we need to plug in 3 things here. You plug in the white to white connector, the red to red connector, and in this case, blue to white. The 3 wires pretty much, then the connectors they need to go to are right there. If they have to be stretched, then they're not going in the right place. You're basically connecting each motor to the actual controller and then the battery to the controller itself. Now you can put the seat on. The backrest slides down and it gets 2 screws to hold it in place. Then the seat gets put in, it slides under the rear seat rest and gets 2 screws to hold it in place. Now we can move on to the light bar brackets. There are 2 mounts that go on each side, or at least one on each side, and they just push into place each, and they're labeled left and right. And that means the right and left while you're looking at the windshield. So you push those into place and they'll click in there, and then you're ready for the light bar, and it just slides into place like the bull bar. Now, last thing you have to do is slide the windshield in and clicks into place as well pretty easily. Go ahead and charge this thing up and let your kid enjoy it. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. The fit and finish is pretty decent considering the price. It has 2 30-watt motors, and they are soft start motors. These motors do hook up to the 12-volt battery source that lasts up to 2 hours of fun. To charge this thing, you're going to use the charging port that has got a barrel connector, and you plug it into the charging port on the control panel. Okay, so not that your kid needs it, but this does have 2 shock absorber springs. They have it up front, and it's going to help dampen the ride. Does it help? I don't know, but they have it there. It says for 3 to 5-year-olds, but our son is 20 a month old, and even he enjoys it. So moving on, it does have a display with controls allowing you to turn it on and off. You can turn on the headlight on and off, beep the horn. You can change the music between Bluetooth and auxiliary and USB. You can even go to their preloaded music. You can play and pause music. You can change the volume. You can change the tracks. You can actually change the speed control. This allows you to switch from low to high gear. This goes from 1.8 mile per hour to 3.1 mile per hour and 2 different speeds. The forward and reverse gear selector is on the right-hand side here. It does have a remote control that allows you to control forward and reverse, left and right, change between speed modes. And I will say, driving this thing with the remote control, it takes a little consistent steering going on. If you just let it go, it's gonna go its own way a little bit. It doesn't go crazy, but it goes its own way a little bit sometimes. And going through, we were driving it down the sidewalk, I noticed I had to go left, right, left, right, left, 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 right, right. Almost like I was putting a cheat code into Nintendo when I was a kid. What do you expect when everything's plastic and metal? I mean, nothing's going to be aligned exactly right here. The doors on this thing have little door latches so that it's not easy to open up, and that way your kid doesn't fall out. Here are my final thoughts. I'm amazed at how many features this thing has for the $130 price. From the working headlights, to the Bluetooth stereo, to the remote control. These are all great features. The control panel is pretty nice looking at. It's not a cheap play toy looking at. It's like most electric cars out there. I find it super nice and it looks more professional. I'm sure my 20-month-old will appreciate that. Okay, maybe he doesn't understand all that. But me, his dad, I do. Being able to control this car with a remote is nice, and it's needed at times when you have kids that can't do it for themselves, or maybe if you just want to have your kids sit back and relax and lets you take the wheel. One of the downsides I did find about this is, and maybe I just wasn't doing it right and I didn't know what I was doing, but once my kid found the gas pedal, this thing took off on its own, obviously. But if I was using the remote control, he can hit the gas pedal and I can steer it for him and he can do the gas. But the problem is if he's about to hit something, I have to hit the back button. And I'm told in the instructions, if it's moving forward, don't put it in the reverse gear because it hurts the motors. So I was kind of a little worried about that. So I'm teaching him not to use the gas pedal. And if he wants to do that, then I'll steer it for him. I wish you could turn on and off the feature. Now that I'm thinking about it, I probably could unplug the wiring harness that goes to the actual gas pedal. So that way he can't do it himself. I might look into that. If you found this video helpful, please leave me a like and feel free to ask any questions down in the comment section below. If you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing for more tech reviews, home automation, home and automotive how-to videos. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.